Before this course, I used to think that social studies was all about the history of North Carolina and America. It was originally my opinion that you only learn from a class textbook, and children would just sit in a classroom and learn about the history of a war or important person in history. After taking this course, I now realize that social studies is all about culture and diversity just as much as it is history itself. Social studies is taught through technology, texts, online, in groups, and just like any other course. Students are also taught about the importance of peace. Powerful teaching and learning can be enhanced through the use of children's books, kind of like in the notable trade book that we did. The kids really related to that because my book was taught through a child's eyes, so it was something that they could really relate to. Technology is really important to incorporate in the lesson because these kids are surrounded by technology every day, so it's just become a normalcy to them. Student-led presentations are really important because it gives these kids a sense of independence, and makes them feel like they're doing something important. Peace-building activities in the classroom are really important because if they are taught in our classroom, then they can be spread to other classrooms and maybe through the school and eventually out into their communities. History, economics, civics, and geography all relate to the global dimensions that we learned in this course because every single culture is different. Whether learning about military, history, currency, government, or land type, each country will have their own versions of each. In my field experience, the students generalized their knowledge about money and math to other subjects. The teacher discussed how currency is different in every country. So while in their math class they were counting American money, during their social studies class, they laid out all the types of currencies in every country so they could see what countries used what, and then they learned how to count those. Teaching culture and acceptance is a huge part of social studies. Children need to understand that there are other cultures in the world and that they should all be accepted. Teaching acceptance is really important to start early. In my field experience and in this course, I learned many new tools that will be helpful in my future classroom. Some of the strategies that I learned was the triangle, square, circle, which is kind of like the KWL chart that I used to use when I was a kid. The fake book was really neat because if these kids' parents have Facebooks that they've seen, or if they're old enough and have Facebooks of their own, it's really cool to incorporate something that they know and may use or see used every day into something that they can use in history, so it's easy for them to understand. Photobabble is really neat because sometimes kids can't really express themselves on paper, so it's neat that they can verbally express themselves. Tripomatic's really cool because if they're talking about a specific place in another country, they can, make up like a fake trip there, or sometimes, they can tell their parents about it, and it's something that they can make a trip about one day, but it's really neat so they can see all the specific places in the town or country that they're talking about. Google Earth's really cool because it has the Street View tool on it, so if a teacher is talking about a specific place somewhere in the world, they can just go there really quickly and the kids can see what it's like just from a street view. And that's my presentation.